In the previous video of fact versus opinion, we discussed in detail about what is bypass surgery and what is angioplasty. And then we made a conclusion that in patient who are stable, it means they can able to do the routine activity with on and off chest pain, and this pain relieve either by taking a sorbitrate or by rest. So these kind of stable patient, when they are already on optimal medical management, it means if they are taking medicines, then adding interventional procedures like bypass surgery or angioplasty may not have any additional effect in reducing the risk of heart attack or death. This was a conclusion we made. Now, in the current video of fact versus opinion, we are going to pick up all the clinical trials which has been published from 1960s, where the first bypass surgery is done until today 2020. Now, once the bypass was introduced in 1960s, it actually a kind of revolutionized the way the treatment of coronary artery disease was done before. So initially it is only medicine, but this surgery almost changed the entire scenario, because this is the first time a surgical procedure can able to bypass the blocked vessel, so that the blood flow is restored close to normalcy. So if there is a block, in bypass surgery they put a graft across the blocked artery, so the blood flow can be restored. And many observational trials from 1960 to 1970 or late 1970 shows there is a significant improvement in quality of life. The patient chest pain or angina comes down, and he can able to walk more distance, and the feel good factor is very good, and even put them on a treadmill, they were able to do more exercise time than before. It's fantastic result. By 1970s, late 70s, close to 4 lakh surgery is being done in US and Europe. By then, in late 70s, many experts, which include Braunwald, one of the famous textbook author on cardiology, they voice their opinion. Still there is no sufficient evidence to practice bypass surgery as a routine mainstay treatment in management of patient with chronic stable angina. So they said there should be some more evidence before we take this bypass surgery into a mainstay treatment. Well, I think from 1977, the first trial, which called as a randomized control trial. So any treatment or drug to be validated, I think they have to do a trial called randomized control trial. Now, what is this randomized control trial? Now, randomized control trial or a high-end clinical experiment which is done to evaluate a drug or a treatment. So here in this trial, the patients are randomized into two groups. The first group is where we call it as a treatment group, where the intended treatment is given to the patient population. And second group we call it as a control group, where this treatment is not provided. So at the end of the trial, what they do is they try to compare both this group, the treatment group and the control group, and find out the efficacy of the said treatment. Now, before the randomized trial is designed, the objectives are predetermined. It means the objective can be classified into two ways. One is the primary and secondary. Primary objectives are called hard endpoint. So if you want to evaluate a surgical procedure, the hard endpoint is usually death, heart attack, heart failure, arrhythmias, and all other complications. And then the secondary endpoint or a soft endpoint, I mean the trial is not sufficiently powered to look at the soft endpoint, but definitely is sufficient to power for the hard endpoint, because the hard endpoints are usually what is going to tell you whether the trial is positive or negative. So the soft endpoints are kind of a good feel factor. So we include all the quality of life, exercise time, how much distance he can cover, all these are included in the soft endpoint. So based on this, the first randomized clinical trial was done for bypass surgery, directly comparing with medical management. And this trial is called CASS. It was published in 1984. CASS is coronary artery surgery study. It is a first randomized trial conducted on comparing bypass surgery with medical management. So as a trial design, two group is taken. One group will go for medical management alone, and the second group, which is called the treatment group, will go for medical management, and then a bypass surgery is added over the medical management. Now the hard endpoint at which the trial has been designed is to establish the fact that bypass surgery and angioplasty indeed not only improve the quality of life of the patient but have a significant effect on the outcome. It means heart attack risk and death. So this is why the trial has been designed. Now when the trial result came out, it surprised everyone, and it is a kind of a shock to the cardiology community. The reason is it came out the group of patient, when we compare with bypass surgery and medical management alone, did not have any effect on mortality, heart attack and death. So both the group have equal death and equal heart attack or myocardial infarction. So this was a surprise, because the intention is to show that bypass surgery could able to improve the outcome, but the result came out there is no change in the heart attack risk or death. But in fact, the group which have undergone bypass surgery along with medical management indeed have improved in quality of life. So the quality of life, the patient exercise time improved, the patient feel good factor improved, and the patient started saying that they didn't get chest pain as much as they used to get before. So definitely the anginal quality improved, but not the outcome. Now when they put them on a treadmill, people who have gone for medical management alone did around 50 seconds more on the treadmill after taking the medicines. Similarly, when you look at the group where bypass surgery is done along with medical management, they did around 120 seconds, so around 2 minutes. So probably around 1 minute is what they are able to achieve, much more than medical management alone. Now the question is it this the patient was subjected to going for a bypass surgery? Because bypass surgery is a high risk procedure. Initially, when they designed this trial, they believed the patient's risk of going for a bypass surgery is acceptable, because in long time it is going to save their life and preventing a death and also preventing a heart attack. But the trial shows in the other way. It's a negative trial, did not show much improvement in the mortality. Now by the time almost 4 lakh surgeries has been already done, and in 1977 I think angioplasty, another procedure which also able to increase the blood flow across the blocked artery. So the end result is same, whether it is a bypass surgery or angioplasty, it is able to improve the blood flow beyond the blocked artery. Now the new procedures started getting attention because of the bypass failure to show its superiority over medical management in reducing death and heart attack. Now the angioplasty, they felt definitely this procedure would help patient not only improving quality of life and angina, but also would have some impact on the outcome, which is death and heart attack. So similar to the CASS study, there is another study designed to show angioplasty, if they taken along with medical management, it could be superior. Now this trial is called ACME. So probably around 200 and odd patient, about 220 patients are taken. They are divided into two groups. So one group will undergo only medical management, and the second group will have medical management along with the PTCA or a balloon angioplasty. Now this trial was designed to follow up for 6 months. So during this follow up of 6 months, I think again the trial came out as a negative, similar to what the previous trial CASS, which did follow the patient for almost 5 years. Now again it is a shock, because neither bypass surgery nor angioplasty have any effect on mortality and heart attack risk. So when you look at the trial again, angioplasty when compared with the medical management alone definitely did have improvement in the quality of life, similar to bypass surgery. And if you put it on the treadmill, the patient on medical management were able to do around 30 seconds, but the patient who have medical management and over that angioplasty was able to do an exercise around 2 minutes. Now They did have improvement in quality of life and exercise time, but it is achieved at a very high cost, because during the 6 months itself 15% of this patient underwent repeat angioplasty, and a small group of patients also underwent bypass surgery, and the risk and complication rate and heart attack are very high in the group where they have undergone angioplasty, and the cost is phenomenally high when compared with the medical management. Putting all together, I think the conclusion is, yes, you could have relief in angina only if you go for an angioplasty with risk which you should accept, with no improvement in outcome. Now both this trial 1 CASS comparing medicine with bypass surgery, and trial 2 ACME comparing angioplasty with medical management, both failed to improve the outcome. So by 1993 a conclusion is made. So if a patient is already on medical management, he would have derived the maximum benefit of not only reducing the angina but also the risk of heart attack and death. But if they prefer to add another procedure, a bypass or angioplasty over this, they may not derive any additional benefit other than some quality of life. So is it reasonable to go for bypass or angioplasty is a question which is raised in 1993 with both the trials being closed. But surprisingly it didn't stop there. Suddenly from 93 later, 93 and 94, 2 trials were published, not the advancement of medical management or bypass or angioplasty, but they simply tried to compare bypass with angioplasty and to show which is better. Now at that time 1990s, I don't know what is going on, but if you carefully see this, I think I can able to explain you with an example. I mean, this is a year of COVID, so anything we give an example with COVID and people used to understand better. Now assume that when COVID first got into India, the policy makers made a decision. It's a huge decision. They declare that they're going to control this COVID and reduce the number of COVID cases across the country. For that, sacrifice has to be made. So they talked about economic lockdown, and then the national lockdown, and the social distancing, and then hand washing and stay home, etc., with an objective of reducing the number of cases of corona. But eventually they couldn't able to achieve it. Now what happened is, initially the strategy is to control the disease. Now the perspective changes. Now the perspective changes into managing the public opinion. Now suddenly they changed and said the number of fatality rate has come down. Well, the fatality rate is 1% from the beginning. From the day we start shutting down to today, the fatality rate is 1%. It didn't change. So it is just managing to change the public perception. Similarly, suddenly comparing 2 treatment which is not have any effect on mortality or morbidity, and comparing both of them is just like changing the public perception rather than addressing the issue. They went ahead and then did a couple of trials to compare this bypass surgery and angioplasty. Their intention is to find out at least one of them could be superior to the other one, or it may come up with a result that the mortality and morbidity will be significantly lowered, so they can still claim that bypass and angioplasty did reduce the chances of heart attack and death, and one of this treatment is superior. Now again, if you want to make this conclusion in a simple example is, let's assume for COVID-19, 2 pharmaceutical company comes up with a cure or a vaccine. They said you take this vaccine, your chances of getting COVID-19 again will be 0. So that's a endpoint, hard endpoint. It's significant if they're able to achieve it. Then they did some trial and they find out both the vaccine failed to prevent the occurrence of COVID-19. So the basic idea what this vaccine is for is not achieved. But in spite of dropping down this 2 vaccine, suddenly both the company is doing another trial showing vaccine 1 compared to vaccine 2 and which vaccine is better. And they also come up with an explanation saying the vaccine 1, even though did not stop you getting a COVID-19, it reduces your headache. And vaccine 2 did not reduce your headache, but it actually decrease your number of sneezing. So it doesn't make any sense, and then they want to make an expert committee, and then this expert committee will recommend which one will have vaccine 1 and which one will have vaccine 2. If it presented to you, I think everybody will understand this is bogus. Similarly, when angioplasty and bypass is not effective to relieve stop your chance of getting heart attack and death, then comparing both the procedure will not make any difference. But in spite of it, certain objective, they plan to carry out the trial. The trial result came. The first trial is called RITA. So it's a randomized interventional trial on angioplasty comparing with medicine. So what they did in RITA is they took a large group of patients, maybe 1011 patients. They grouped them into two categories, one with medical management, one with bypass surgery, and second with angioplasty. So both this group have medical management. Over that medical management, one group will have a bypass surgery and second group will have an angioplasty. So what they did is they followed up for 1 year, 3 year and also 5 years. So all this 1 year, 3 years and 5 years, they did not show any advantage over the other one in case of mortality, the death or heart attack. It is very surprising because in spite of doing the surgery and angioplasty over the medical management, both the group, the incident of death and heart attack remains the same without any change. But the point is, in people who have undergone bypass surgery, the relief of angina is better than when compared with angioplasty. So you able to get the relief of angina much better in bypass group, but the risk is very high on the first 3 months because bypass complication, death, renal failure, loss of memory, stroke, all these things are high in the first 3 months, and also the patient recovery. It takes almost 2 to 3 months to recovery. So if you want to take a high risk with a decreased symptom, CABG or a bypass surgery is a better option. And then if you go to the PTCA or a balloon angioplasty, if you do angioplasty, the relief of angina is much lesser when compared with the bypass surgery. But here you have to undergo repeat procedure. I think in probably around 5 years, 28% of them who are on the who did angioplasty also went for a bypass surgery. So angioplasty could be a short-term relief of angina with high complication rate. So basically, just to get an improvement in quality of life, the patient has to choose between two high-risk procedures which can even cause death or can cause complication which could be lifelong. So since the RITA trial is negative, and then immediately the EAST trial. The EAST trial also, it is a hemorrhage comparison of angioplasty with bypass. Again the trial design is same. They took two group of people, one with medicine and angioplasty, another with medicine and bypass surgery. This trial also come out with a similar finding of RITA or the previous old trial. Both the group again did not show any improvement in case of heart attack and death, but only more improvement in angina, which has been achieved in bypass arm, and in angioplasty less relief of angina. So whole together, by the time in 94 the EAST paper was published, there are more than 8 to 9 randomized control trial has been published comparing bypass and angioplasty, and all showed the same result. There is no significant change in outcome between bypass and angioplasty. In fact, this could have closed the entire idea of using bypass and angioplasty in patient with stable angina. But again, in 95, after these conclusions are made, the interventionalist again came up with some explanation that still they need to continue the trial. The reason they given is it looks valid because initially when angioplasty is done, it is called plain balloon walled angioplasty. I mean, it means they only dilate the vessel. The stent was not available at that time. So they said now from late 90s you have stent available. So if you can able to place the stent after opening the vessel, probably we may able to keep the vessel open for a long period of time, and we may able to achieve not only quality of life, but there is a possibility of improving the outcome, heart attack and death. Similarly, Surgeons also made the point that initially the technique was not so advanced because we used to take a graft only from the leg, which is a venous graft. Now we have other options. The technique is perfected because more and more number of hospitals are utilizing CABG and also angioplasty, and also we are able to take a graft from your arteries, internal mammary and radial artery. So this radial graft has shown to last for longer without getting occluded when compared to the venous graft. So both this argument again made, saying because of the perfection of the technique and advancement in science, probably CABG or a bypass surgery and angioplasty should not be abandoned in patient with chronic stable angina, and further trials should be done to evaluate it further. Now, what they forgot to mention is, as advancement is happening in angioplasty and bypass surgery, there are also advancement happening in medical therapy. Initially, the medical therapy which is used in all this trial are very rudimentary. It has only one nitrate and a beta blocker. Now, the medicines have advanced so much. Now we have other than beta blocker, we have other medicine which can dilate your vessel, and we have antiplatelet agent, we can prevent the thrombus formation of clot in the blood vessel, and also we have lifestyle changes, smoking cessation, and then risk factor modification. So much of them have been advanced in medical management alone. So I don't think it is possible because just the perfection is done on the technique. Again, bypass and angioplasty would have a better effect. But well, I think it has to be set by a randomized controlled trial rather than just an opinion. So then what happened? The interventionalists, cardiologists and non-invasive cardiologists designed the next group of trial. From 1995 to 2007, 3 major trial has been published. It actually again pinpointed the same fact but much in a stronger way. These trials are called MAS, and then Courage, and then Barry 2D. This 2 trial actually made a clear point that in spite of all the advancement, the results remain same as in 1993 and even in 1990s. So in our next video, we are going to evaluate about 3 major trials: the MAS, medicine angioplasty surgery study, or Courage, clinical outcome utilizing intervention and aggressive medical therapy. And then we are going to talk about Barry 2D, bypass angioplasty revascularization trial. These 3 trials compared medicine with bypass surgery and angioplasty, and also intensively comparing angioplasty with medical management. So in our next video on fact versus opinion, we will discuss in detail from 1995 to 2007 the evidence which has been published and presented against bypass and angioplasty as a hard endpoint, death and heart attack.